What's up, Fresh? It's our return, baby.
Gator boots with the pimped out Gucci suits. Ain't got no job, but I stay sharp.
I stay sharp.
Can't pay my rent.
Can't pay my rent.
All my money spent. But that's okay, cause I'm still fly. Got a quarter tank of gas in my new E-Class.
In my E-Class Benz.
But that's alright, cause I'm gon' ride.
Got everything in my mama name, but I'm hood rich.
Bang, we gotta get to the episode.
But I'm hood rich.
But babe, we gotta get to the episode.
I'm still hood rich.
That's fine. We still gotta get to the episode.
With the diamond in the back.
You silly. Yo. What's up? It's your boy Marquise.
And this is your one and only your favorite Taylor.
And welcome back to the You Stuck With Me podcast.
You stuck with me.
Beautiful. How do you feel besides being hood rich?
I feel good. I feel great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hungry, but I'm good.
I feel that. So,
in this episode, we're talking about, and you know it's going to be a funny episode because she starts out laughing.
No, because I want to tell y'all something. When we do these episodes, 95% of the time it happens in real time.
Life be lifing.
Life be lifing. So, by the way we just did this song, it's actually true. Because your girl is unemployed.
I think they want to know what exactly happened. Before we tell y'all what exactly happened, she is not Tommy Strong. She actually already had a job.
Well, yeah, but I'm still unemployed, technically.
Are
with
you really?
My pimped out Gucci suit.
She actually does have a
Ain't got no job, but I stay sharp.
No arguments there.
Can't pay my rent.
Yes,
I do have some. I did
you
pay
rent.
rent. I paid
right?
rent before. Yeah. High five, cause we ain't doing that. But that's okay, cause I'm still fly.
That's my wife. You wanna unpack this story, beautiful?
I can't believe I'm talking about this right now. Okay.
I mean, the listeners want to know because this is something that we've actually alluded to in the past few episodes.
So remember, way back, we had an episode we talking about pursuing dreams and you know all that good stuff, and then also talk about leaving a situation. I be moving on.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I had to move on from my job.
So break it down for the listeners, beautiful. So tell me what you're going through, or tell them what you're going through.
I don't know where to start. Okay, so I remember in the previous episode I talked about I had a job where I had a boss that would told me, hey, I would hate to tell you to come back from your wedding. That actually did happen. That was the first job. The second job I just left, I had to leave for personal reasons. And I actually wanted to have this episode is because to show our listeners that we just don't talk about it, we be about it. And it's something I had been planning for a while with my lovely husband over here, but I didn't want to say anything too soon because I want to make sure everything was solidified. So I'm unemployed, but I'm not unemployed. I'm just in a transitional phase before I start a new opportunity. I'm not going to go into detail just yet what that is. I'll get into that later. But it is a blessing. It's a miracle. This particular job that I was in, I was unhappy. I was in a position where I felt like I was not being heard. I was being overworked, and I'm not going to say I was the best employee, but you know how you're not the best employee, but it's not totally your fault.
You still get the job done.
I still got the job done, and it was just I was being targeted, and it got to a point where I would just dread going to my job.
And you know, I understand that because we've all been there at one point or another where you just dread going to your job and you want to move on to something better. You just want better for yourself, which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I wanted better for myself, but then also, and I feel like a lot of us don't talk about this, we want better for ourselves, but then we get afraid of the unknown, right? We always hear people about taking that leap of faith and everything like that, which I wholeheartedly believe in, but what about those who have the faith? And I know it's crazy. You have the faith, but then you start a little bit to doubt your abilities.
Well, I don't mean to sound cliche about this, but faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So,
and you can't pray and worry because that's counteractive.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's the situation with me. Part of it was I just didn't want to leave without having something secure. Right? Because it's like we doing a lot of things, and I just didn't want to just leave and be out here jobless, and we trying to do this and everything like that. I'm just putting it out there. I to make a long story short, I did not want to be a starving artist. I didn't.
Respectable. It's respectable and understandable.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a starving artist, and that's not knocking anybody who is a starving artist, but sometimes the hunger pains get to your back, and you be like, okay, now you got to eat something other than a piece of bread. So, yeah, so when this airs, when does this air? I'll be...
You would have been a week into...
probably a week and a half
into your new position,
into my new position, and removed from this current job. I do that side because it's like a breath of fresh air. It is. I also want to do this episode because let me tell y'all, workplace etiquette is just non-existent now.
Etiquette in general is just
not existent. It's not. So let me tell y'all this story. Steve, you in this episode today. Hi, awesome. Steve.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, Steve.
So let me tell y'all what happened, right?
Wait, before you tell everybody what happened, I just realized it because y'all both dealt with the same thing. It just kind of hit me.
Also unemployed.
Team unemployed.
Let's go.
Air 5.
I'm sorry, but I can now help you guys in the struggle that God has
you
placed
work
in your
for
life.
yourself. You work for yourself. We try to be like you. But anyway, so let me tell y'all this. Workplace etiquette is just non-existent, right? I mean, we're in a time where we don't really dress up for interviews. Cool. I can deal with that. But I shook two people's hands, right? Upon my exit. They was like, oh, best wishes in your endeavors and this, that, and the third. The first one was a man. He gave me a limp handshake. And he had muscles. He had a limp handshake. Okay. Here's my issue with it. And y'all gonna think I got some issues or whatever like that, but I'm gonna put it the best way possible. Marquise looking at me because I told him this earlier. And I told you this earlier too. Look, I was brought up that a firm handshake tells you about a person, right? Y'all heard that, right? But this man gave me a limp handshake. It was softer than an eggplant.
She used more colorful language earlier.
I mean, look, it was like this. Like, I'd rather for you not to shake my hand, put your hand out there. If you're going to give me a limp hand, it gives me the impression that you don't want to touch me. I ain't want you to touch me anyway. Bruh. I mean, at least I put it in a nice way. I said eggplant. Then the second person, she was really nice. She was really cool and everything like that. And she was like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to give a handshake. What? He's not missing with these sound effects.
We got new sound effects, y'all.
We do. And I was just like, is it really that foreign not to give a handshake? What do y'all think about this? I know y'all still blown. I said his handshake was softer than a limp eggplant, but
Honestly, I can't help you on this one.
That's baffling, to be honest.
Mhm.
That's confounding.
Yeah.
I'm flabbergasted.
So,
I need another big word.
so I talked to one of my coworkers about it. Well,
Former
coworkers about it. And he made a good point. He was like, well, maybe, he said he wasn't surprised, but he was like, maybe some people don't know how to do because you're a woman. You know, maybe it's not customary to shake a woman's hand, but it's like, if you put your hand out there, if you conducted business, you know. I mean, what do y'all, from a guy's perspective, you're conducting business, you know, a manager. It was Steve. Yeah, you were a manager. You're in the manager role, and babe, you deal with clients all the time. When y'all dealing with a woman client, do y'all shake hands?
Yeah, you don't really want to grip a woman's hand
yeah.
too strong. Now that I'm thinking it through, you don't really want to grip a woman's hand too strong because then it might be like, because usually the woman has a limp handshake. To be honest. It's like they just put the hand out and you just kind of touch it.
Yeah, but when you're shaking hands with another man, at least from my perspective, you want to have that firm grip because it's like, you know, you let them know that you're serious and you're there. Like you said, a firm grip tells you a lot about a person. So
yeah, I understand that, but I know with Steve, what you're talking about with a woman, you know, they just put it out there, but it's like the way the handshake he gave me, it was like he can damn near do this, like hold my finger like a little kid. And I'm like, well, damn, you could at least give me like a little, I know, I'm terrible. But, you know, you could at least give like a little tug or something like that, you know? So.
Full hand, like if I'm shaking a woman's hand, I'm going to give the full hand.
Give me the full hand.
You get the full hand.
Right.
That's respect.
you get the full hand, but you won't get the full strength.
Yeah.
No force.
I didn't even get the full hand. That's why I said it felt limp, like lifeless. Like he didn't want to touch me. At that point, I'm like, you ain't had to put it out there. You could have, you know.
I mean, I see what you're saying both ways because, you know, you want to command the respect of anybody that you come in contact with, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think also in this PC culture that we live in, you gotta be careful with the way you do things. It's not like you could do it like how it used to be in the 90s. Like you can shake a woman's hand like a full handshake, and you know still be. I guess you can't use all your strength, but now because the way people are and the way society is, you gotta watch how you move now. Maybe he was watching how he was moving, especially because you're on your way out the door. And like you said, prior to it, you know, and you're gonna allude to it. He said something to you that you were like,
I don't know which time because he said it so many times.
When he was talking about, I'm probably gonna give a little bit of away when he said that he probably been annoying for like a year. Oh,
so that was that. Let's get to that part. So let me tell y'all the rest of the story. So I submitted a resignation letter. Well, I'm gonna touch that. I'm gonna want y'all to know y'all opinion about that in a minute. I submitted a resignation letter, right? And I indicated, you know, my reasoning for it. And, you know, I kept it professional. I said, thank you for the time here. I learned a lot and I appreciate the experiences. So first of all, I never seen this man get up so fast to ask me a question. Like,
or give you a response for that.
Give me a response, because again, I alluded to he used to ignore me, but he pulled me to the side. He was like, I hope everything's okay. I know it's been a hard year for you, and you know I've been annoying for the past year. I hope you understand. You know, and it was just, in back of my mind, I'm like, bro, I don't know how to take you seriously because you said some out of pocket stuff. So that brings me to my next thing. So I've been seeing lately that people been quietly quitting, silently quitting, quiet quitting. And I've heard stories, people just don't show up for a couple days and that be their resignation or whatever. How do y'all feel about that? Do you think resignation letters are obsolete?
I don't think that they're obsolete, but I see a lot of people starting to question for the reason of having them, and this is why. I'm gonna take the state of Illinois. We live in an at-will state, So
yes, let's drop that knowledge. Go ahead.
So in the state of Illinois, we live in an at-will state. So a job could fire you at any moment for just about anything.
Well, let me clean it up a little bit. So an employer can terminate the working relationship
with no cause.
No cause, and that also goes for the employee.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, and we've discussed this, amongst friends, and I've heard it, other people say it. Would your job give you 2 weeks notice if they're going to fire you, or would they allow you to work 2 more weeks after you've been fired? Because if you've been fired, or even if you haven't just been fired, but you've been furloughed, or whatever the case may be, and you don't work for them anymore, that throws people's lives into confusion. Yeah, confusion, or loop, whatever you want to call it, because you have people who have kids that they gotta feed. You don't know if they're taking care of their elderly parents or sick parents or sick spouse. You don't know how dependable people are on their place of employment. But for some jobs, and we've seen it repeatedly throughout history, that these companies, sometimes they just don't care. It's all about the bottom line. So if they feel like you're expendable, which more times than not, a lot of corporations do feel like you're expendable, then they're going to let you go. So, and I've seen a lot of people, turn around with that same thought process and say, well, this job isn't going to, they're not going to show me anything but the door. Why should I give them the same courtesy? And I understand that, but sometimes you also got to watch what you're doing, because you don't know if you're ever going to A, run into that same boss again, or B, if you're going to need to come back to that company. You don't know what's going to happen in your future, so it's important not to burn bridges.
See, what do you think?
I think that it depends on the level of professional courtesy that the employer has extended to you, what you're going to provide to them. And definitely what Marquise just said about if you need to ever come back to that job. Not so much as seeing that person again, because honestly, in some situations, screw that person. But if you do need that job put as a backup, like, oh, I want to leave on good graces so I can potentially come back because maybe I'm starting a business and it might not go well or something like that. Yeah. With my job that I just gave up on, I technically told my boss that I was going to leave soon, but I didn't say I'm specifically leaving in 2 weeks. But it just got to the point, it got to a boiling point and I had to go. So I think that you don't necessarily owe them anything to that point of, if you was getting fired, you're fired today. You're not fired next week. You're not fired in a month. You're fired right now. So it's like.
And some jobs, when they fire you, they'll let you work the day and then fire you at the end of the day.
Right.
Like, you could have just told me that at the beginning and I would have just left.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a professional courtesy that they will not extend to you. So makes sense.
Well, I did some more digging to this. So you two are absolutely correct. But there is some circumstances where you would have to give a 2-week notice. So if the company's handbook specifies that that is required, not expected, because expecting and required are two different things. If it's required for you to submit a 2-week notice, you have to, or that is legal action.
Also, they cannot pay out your PTO sometimes.
Yeah, and they can.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I've never been in this situation, so I'm learning right now.
Yeah, they can also not pay out your PTO, and in most cases, sick time is not paid out. It's not. And another reason why you would have to give a 2-week notice. So, if you had obligations, if you owed the company something, so if they made adjustments for you, say you didn't have no PTO. I'm just throwing it out there, really random. If you didn't have no PTO and you wasn't covered by a medical FMLA or ADA, which, let me explain FMLA. FMLA is Family Medical Leave of Absence, or ADA, which is an accessible something.
I've heard of it, but I actually don't know.
It's basically accommodations made for those who have disabilities too, that could affect their work performance, where they have to reduce their. Thank you, Americans with a Disability Act, right? So basically, like I was saying, those with disabilities who have to have a reduced workload or reduced time working, you make those accommodations for them. So if you don't have that, and let's just say you borrowed against your time and you in a negative whatever, if you resign without giving proper notice and stuff like that, of course that's going to be taking out your last check, but then also that could be grounds for a lawsuit.
And you know what you made me just think of, and I want to pose this question, or not a question, but add to what you said as far as legal consequences. Mm-hmm. I think also you got to include the fact that what if you have property that legally belongs to them?
Yep.
Like a laptop or a tablet or a phone or something like that.
Well, in that case, companies will give you at the most 30 days to return that. It depends on the company. Mm-hmm. So, good thing for me, I didn't have anything like that. And I mean, I didn't technically burn a bridge. You know, I still gave a letter. It might not have been in 2 weeks, but I communicated. Mm-hmm. But now looking back on it, that was my courtesy of that, because it's just a habit of me, of what I was taught. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, there was actually some people there that was like really cool. Like the HR person I was working with, she was cool. And she was actually, in a sense, sad to see me go. But as for my direct boss, he made some comments that made me feel uncomfortable and made me feel like that when I took time with my FMLA, he used that as a reason why I wasn't productive, yeah.
But yeah, let's make this clear. He didn't say anything to her in
he did not ask me about it.
A racist or a sexual manner.
Not to my face.
Not to our face.
We don't know if he said something behind closed doors. But yeah, and he did not ask me about my FMLA, so it's not like he could have, you know, I could suit him, whatever like that.
But you know what? This conversation made me think about something.
What?
When you're leaving a company or you're leaving a job or whatever have you, how hard is it if you have a direct issue with your boss, how hard is it for you to separate your issue with your boss from an issue with the company?
Well, in my case, it was one and the same, because it was like when I first got in the door, I had some issues upon my hiring. And then also too, I was in a department where we was overlooked as a department in the company. So I couldn't separate it. It was hand in hand. Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's important for people to know, because you're going to have those bosses, you're going to have those colleagues who do make your work life difficult, or
a living hell.
I was trying not to say that, but yeah.
Hell is not a cuss word.
It's not, but you know, I guess I was trying to be PC with it, but whatever. They're going to make it difficult for you, and it's going to make it unpleasant for you to go to work. So depending on the situation, correct me if I'm wrong. Both of you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, honestly. Because once again, I do work from home. It makes it harder to differentiate your issues with the company from your issues with the person.
Well, I mean, Steve may feel a little bit different. I said with me was, I feel like in those situations we encountered, we was at our breaking point, because it was a matter of, you know, we always had a plan. I mean, is it fair to say that, Steve?
Yeah.
We had a plan, and it was basically to the breaking point. Like, the stuff was really annoying. Like, if I stay here a little bit, it's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. And then we would have been like the stereotypical black people, like, we'll flip over stuff. Crash out.
And I would say the people are an extension of the company.
Yeah.
So they carry a piece of it. I mean, I don't know. The people are the problem usually. Mm-hmm. The company, I mean, any company is just a company at a certain point, but like, they hired those people, they let those people stick around, they don't have the culture needed to keep me there, you know? So it's the company's fault for not nurturing that culture, but then it's immediately that person's fault for making my job a miserable experience.
And then also too, at that point, that's when you start, reflecting and connecting to the company, because you would have you would have said something before you crashed out. I know I did. Whatever issues I had with my boss or what was going on, I professionally brought it to a higher up.
But you never crashed out. Not in the way that you said.
It was through the grace of God that I didn't crash out. You know. So at that point, I'm like, okay, if after a certain amount of time, if I feel like there's no change, then I feel like I'm not being heard, which is another aspect of, oh, they just gonna put this person before me. And and that's why I always advocate for people, speak your mind, right? And it's okay to talk to coworkers about how you feeling, because 9 times out of 10 they might feel the same way. And that was one thing I said in my exit interview. I said check on this department, because even though I'm the type of person, I'm not afraid to ask questions and speak out. But though there's some people who have been there as long as I have, or may even be there longer, who may be afraid to say something out of retaliation of our direct supervisor, or, fear of the fear is going to fall on deaf ears.
Which tends to happen a lot.
It tends to happen a lot. Now, I'm not saying things are going to happen overnight, but what my main concern and point was, at least let me see an attempt. Because then if you attempt, that goes a long way. Because, you're not going to know everything. Some people might just suck at their job in real life, and you ask them to do something that's part of their job, and you start to realize, you start to see damn, they don't know what the hell they doing, And
even if with the attempt, they don't get it right, at least they attempt.
Advocacy,
And I think, and something else that you told me earlier, before we start the episode, how at that job the morale was low, and I brought that up. And I think that a lot of people, no matter if you're a superior or if you're just a employee, you don't realize how important morale is to in your workspace until there's an issue or there is a goal that's achieved. Morale works in a lot of different ways in the workplace.
Well, the way, to give more context, what I said about morale, I don't know, and y'all could tell me if I'm wrong, or, you might see it a different way. I knew the morale was low when I was a vet at this job. When 3 or 4 vets just randomly leave in a span of a month. They were like the go-to people. They could have been the next in command that they want to, but they walked away. And a newer person who barely been there for 6 months just walks away. Now you got a small number of team members, which brings in more work for those who are still there. You feel burnt out.
I agree with that, and this is where we come into this part of the episode where we talk about high employee turnover.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing, you guys.
It's a real thing. And I didn't realize that until I had my exit interview, and the HR representative who I talked to, like I said, we had a cool relationship. I just knew when talking to her, she was going to ask some questions, because it's like, you've been here for a minute.
Why are you leaving now? What's the problem?
So,
and let's dive into that really quickly, because one thing we want to address about HR isn't there to protect the employee. They're there to protect
and they're not your best friend. You got to show discernment. Yeah. Granted, I say we had a cool relationship. In a professional way. She didn't know my personal life at all.
Yeah, at my last job where I was working, I was clocking in 9 to 5. The HR lady, very cool.
How long ago was that? 10, 15 years ago? 20 years ago?
I'm not that old.
You could have fooled me.
Okay, look, I know I got gray in my beard, but come on now.
I'm just playing. Go ahead.
No, but I would honestly say that was about 8 years ago. 8 years ago. She was very cool. Whenever I asked her about something, when I came to her about something, she was responding. She moved with the quickness. She got everything done. And I'm going to be honest, she's probably the most efficient HR representative that I've ever seen.
And people like that, those are the ones that tend to drop off, because it's like they feel like they're doing what they're supposed to, but they not getting compensated for that.
I can see why you say that. I agree with that.
So
I think that's not just any HR person, but I think that's anybody in a work setting.
Well, I ain't mean specifically HR. I mean anybody in a work setting.
Yeah, when you work for a job and you're doing what you're supposed to do, and sometimes not just what you're supposed to do, but be going beyond the call, and you don't feel any type of appreciation, or you don't feel like anybody notices it, it definitely becomes a sad state of affair. You feel a certain type of way, and then after a while you start to wonder how important you are to the goal of your job as a whole. And I've always said this, and something that, thank you to my mom for telling me this, and this happened when I was younger. When the job stops taking care of you, you got to stop taking care of the job. So,
and you got to take care of yourself, because there's only one you. And one thing that I always heard was, a job will post up your position
before they post up your obituary. Yep. And I think, matter of fact, I think you told me that you see that happen one time.
He wasn't me.
Somebody told me that, and they saw that they put up their obituary they put up their position before they put up their obituary, and the worker had just died like days prior. Somebody told me. I wish I would remember who it was.
I don't think that was me, but we got through the tough and the nitty-gritty stuff. You're probably wondering, so Taylor, how did this all pan out?
You want to tell them?
I was waiting for one of y'all to ask me.
What happened, beautiful?
All right. I'm about to go church on y'all real quick. Y'all ready?
Yep.
Let me show you how amazing my God is. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I have been praying and searching for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to say about 6 to 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Lord, I need a job that is flexible with an increase in pay. I said, if you grant me that, I will make sure to use my talents, the God-given talents that I have, which is in this podcast and in music or whatever, and all the other talents that you have blessed me with, to serve you. Because you feel it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I ain't gonna lie to you. The job market is trash. It's trash. But through the grace of God, I prayed and I kept looking, because they say prayer without works is dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
But faith without works is dead.
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah. But you just can't pray and sit there. God is not a genie. You just can't sit there and imagine and just have him do the work. You got to do something,
Mm-hmm.
right? I had the referral of a good friend, a dear friend of mine. I applied for this job. The application had closed when I tried to apply for it.
Mm-hmm.
She said, reach out to the HR person. Here is their number. They opened it up for me. I had got an interview with the HR person. The HR person loved me. And I had got an interview with the hiring manager. The hiring manager told me they were so impressed with me that with one of my answers, they wished they would have recorded it, because that was a good example.
Well done, young grasshopper.
Right.
Well done.
But wait. Less than 24 hours later, they was like, we want to extend you an offer. But it gets better. It gets better.
Better and better and better and better.
Not only did I get the pay increase, I get to experience working from home. Which means I have flexibility to be there for Marquise and his appointments, to be able to put a little bit more focus on the podcast, and to become the DJ that y'all will know and love.
Amen.
Yes.
Congratulations, beautiful. You earned it.
Thank you.
You definitely earned it.
Thank you.
Because you deserve it.
So, yeah. So, I'm excited. It's going to be an adjustment, but pay increase, and I get to save money on parking. Because parking downtown.
Gas, too.
And gas. Parking downtown and gas. Ooh.
To pull back this layer about the gas part, I'm gonna draw a picture for you.
Oh gosh.
So, let's say you get paid on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fill up your gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got to work weekends. We do what we do. We take my car just for the sake of the. So, Monday, car's full. you got to work Friday. Your car's full. How does that sound?
How about the only time I have to move my car is when I got to do grocery shopping and all that.
Talk about it. One thing y'all know about us, we are going to celebrate the little things. Because you got to have appreciation for the little things.
Yes.
Appreciation, as you see in the workplace and in your personal life, goes a long way.
And Marquise would tell you, I said, babe, I really want to experience a work from home job because I feel better at home so I can be more supportive to the family.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So on that note.
And Steve, and you well, you're not unemployed. You still have hair and it's going to flourish.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we already been helping him trying to get the studio.
The business is growing.
Yes.
Yep.
Because I told him before the episode, I've tossed his name around to a few people that I know who want to start their podcast, and then I've seen him, posting that he's looking for clients. So your business is going to grow as well.
Yeah,
it is growing. We're gonna speak it to existence and move that is like it's already happening.
I got faith.
Mm-hmm. And let the church say amen.
Well.
And on that note, beautiful, you want to tell the people where they can find us?
You can find us
at home.
Yeah, you can find us at home now. But you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and on TikTok. And then you can stream this episode and your other favorite episodes of the You Stuck With Me podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you stream your favorite shows. And also you can reach out to us directly through email. Bae, you want to drop the handles?
Yes. You can email us at youstuckwithme@gmail.com. That is USTUCKWITME@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram, you stuck with me _podcast, USTUCKWITME _podcast, and it's the same on TikTok. You stuck with me _podcast, USTUCKWITME _podcast. You can find us on Facebook. Just type in You Stuck With Me, all one word, and you'll find our Facebook page. You'll be able to see the videos, see all the shorts, all the goofiness that we do. Good stuff. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you're on Apple Podcasts, make sure you rate, review, subscribe, and share. You can find me on the app formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and the You Stuck With Me page. I'm the running the You Stuck With Me page. Drop by, say hi. If you want to talk to me on Instagram, I am at mine_1 and 1NE_1, and the same on X, formerly known as Twitter, mine_1 and 1NE_1. And you can find my beautiful, talented, smart, employed wife at
employed but temporary unemployed.
We're manifesting.
Hey, okay, employed, and the next step will be self-employed. Hey, but you can find me. You can find me on Instagram and the app formerly known as Twitter under Queen Points. That is PO1NTZ. Again, that is Queen Points, PO1NTZ. And you can also follow me personally on TikTok under Queen Points 22. Again, it's Queen Points 22.
But wait, there's more. Look, y'all, we want to see y'all faces. We want to interact with you guys. So April 5th, New Direction Church. Get y'all live show tickets because it's going to be fun, y'all. We're going to have karaoke. We're going to have music. We ain't going to leave y'all hungry. Y'all going to have something to snack on. That's right. And we're going to have vendors. Y'all can buy some merch. We're going to have merch there. And the smooth music being played by DJ EJ. So shout out to DJ EJ. He did our wedding reception, did a great job, so he's back, y'all. And one more thing that we want to do. I think it's about time we do this because we can't leave this out. Steve, where can they find you?
Oh, you guys can find me on Instagram at Roots Recordings. Roots Recordings or rootsrecordings.com for all of your podcasting needs.
He's dope.
Yes, he is.
Dope.
Yeah, so if you're an aspiring podcaster but you don't know where to go, you want to work with somebody, you want a professional look and a professional sound.
Don't ask us, ask Steve. Hey, ask Steve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good job, Williams.
That's what happens when you're unemployed and come up with some great ideas.
Yes. So this is your boy Marquise.
And this is your one and only favorite Taylor.
And our producer is
Steve at Roots Recordings.
And this is the You Stuck With Me podcast. We out, y'all.
Hey, you stuck with us.
Come back, y'all.
Come back.
Peace out.
Later.